Welcome back, everyone. It's great to see you. How are you? Happy Friday evening. Grab a drink of your choice, sit back and relax, because this is your Friday evening stimulus update. And last video that we did last night ended up being my most viewed video ever in the history of my channel. Ton of engagement. We actually gained over 400 subscribers, and I actually hit 5,000 subscribers because of that. So thank you so much. I have to acknowledge you guys. I can't just do videos without knowing that you're the only reason I can do these. So thank you so much. We hit 5,000 subscribers. Big gain to the community, and I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. So yes, this is your Friday, December 18th evening update on stimulus. And if you didn't see the last update yet from yesterday, link will be down below in the description as always. In that one, we talked about how today was do or die because the government could potentially shut down if a deal is not reached and if a funding bill is not passed by Friday at midnight. So in this video, we have a lot to divulge, a lot to unpack here. Stay tuned, watch till the end. We have to talk about, are you getting another stimulus check? Will the government shut down? Is the government shut down right now? How much will the stimulus check be? What's going on with the vaccine? What's the newest news? All these new developments. So sit back and relax and enjoy. Before you sit back, wait 1 second. I need you to do a few things for me. Just quickly, as always, if you have been enjoying my content, you do appreciate the effort, you appreciate the output, go ahead and show your support by smashing that like button. Give the video a big thumbs up. I would appreciate that. That will help with that YouTube algorithm, put more eyeballs on the video, and it's been working, obviously. So if you just turn that like button blue, I would appreciate it. It's totally free to do so. And if you want to contribute more to the community, if you haven't already, do become a subscriber. Hit that big red button. But that's not good enough, because what happens is YouTube actually hides the videos. Sometimes you don't see it on your recommended. It gets jumbled up. Maybe I get completely shadow banned off YouTube. Who knows? But also what you want to do is hit that notification bell. So that will actually notify you every single time I do post a new video. You'll be first in line to see it. You'll be in the know and privy to what is going on. And if you're feeling extra generous this holiday season, as always, do feel free to share the video with a friend. You can copy that link, share it with a friend, share it with a family member, someone that you think would also benefit from this knowledge and this information, and then we can get the show on the road. So let's start with some groundbreaking news tonight. This is super imperative because it will actually help the economy get back on its feet exponentially faster. This will certainly speed things up. We can get back to normal. We don't have to worry about this virus anymore, ultimately one day. This is great news. So just in the last couple hours or so, as expected, this was expected as it made momentum and went through all of the FDA's levels of approval. The Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, has now authorized for emergency use the COVID-19 vaccine made by Moderna. This move will now make the Moderna vaccine the second vaccine to reach the American public. Just 1 week ago, the Pfizer and BioNTech vaccine was emergency authorized by the FDA. So this will accelerate our bounce back. We'll be able to recoup faster. It certainly bodes well. Millions and millions of more doses will be shipped on top of what's already being distributed in the United States. And speaking of vaccine, I think this is definitely good to note because there's a lot of people out there, you might be one of them, spreading misinformation, disinformation about the vaccine. I almost fell for this myself. I almost believed the video for a second, but just with a quick Google search, you would see that this was totally false. And, well, we'll just have to play the video for a second here. There's this video going around of a nurse in Tennessee that within just seconds of taking the vaccine fainted and looked very ill. She did not look very good from this vaccine, and it is a believable video because this is in fact the COVID-19 vaccine. This is not an old video. This is a new video. And you're seeing here, she totally collapsed. She had to be held up. And you would think, oh, well, this vaccine is totally not safe. It's not as safe and effective as it's been called out to be. The fact is that this has nothing to do with the vaccine. Don't fall for this. She actually has a condition. Believe it or not, I had no idea this existed. I'm not a doctor. I don't have any medical experience. I didn't even go to college. I don't have a degree. Believe it or not, she has a condition that can allow her to faint from feeling pain. So don't fall for this. Don't spread this video around, or if you do, at least make sure that you say this is fake news because this is not from the vaccine. The vaccine has been safety tested time and time again, and this is a 100% or at least 95% safe, effective vaccine. Just had to throw that in there for you guys. Just had to make that a note. I do feel, as someone with a decent sized following now, I had to encourage people to get this vaccine, especially as we are talking about the economy and stimulus. So I felt the need to encourage you to understand that this is not exactly what it seems like. It is a safe vaccine. Don't worry. By getting the vaccine, you are a patriot and you are assisting the American comeback to get back to normal. So do get the vaccine. Don't fall for videos or random pictures or other propaganda that you might see online. So what is going on with stimulus? What is happening with your next stimulus check? What's going on with this package? We're waiting right now for Congress to take action. It's been months and months, and here we are. They're about to adjourn for the holidays. So here's the 411. The government was just about to shut down, or at least partially shut down, and many people were actually commenting down below on the last update, let the government shut down, let them get a taste of their own medicine, drink their own Kool-Aid so they understand how we feel as Americans. And I kind of understand that, but the fact is we need the government to be open to get stimulus. So I know we want them to see through our eyes, but unfortunately we do need the government to remain open. So just in time to avert the government shutdown, Congress passed a 2-day stopgap funding bill to keep the government open for just 2 more days. This is not absolutely shocking. We sort of anticipated this and saw this coming. McConnell had already prepared his colleagues and fellow lawmakers to be prepared to stay through till Saturday and even Sunday. So I'm not totally surprised, but at the same time, I am very disappointed that Friday, after months and months, just this week was not enough time to pass a mere $1 trillion COVID relief bill. How ridiculous. Now, the talks didn't totally fall out, and we didn't break down just like we did right before the election. According to both sides and sources, the talks are still on track, and they are still going smoothly. However, the final agreements and the nooks and crannies of the bill were unfortunately not yet resolved and agreed upon. So the House of Representatives passed the temporary funding bill by a vote of 320 to 60, and the Senate approved it by voice vote almost immediately afterward and then sent it to President Trump's desk. To make matters even worse, the House of Representatives adjourned shortly Friday evening after passing the stopgap bill. So they had enough time to fund themselves, but not to Americans. That was not a priority. The same people that elected them, the same people that allowed them to be in a position of power and to be in a position of leadership, totally abandoned. Not right. Absolutely insane. According to Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, Democrat, he said, negotiators are still working toward an agreement, and there will be no House vote Saturday, as the earliest anticipated vote on the relief package or omnibus spending bill will be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Sunday. So that's essentially our new deadline now, Sunday. No votes will be casted tomorrow. 1 p.m. Sunday is the earliest, and according to sources, members will receive a 2-hour advance notice. According to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, he was, quote, even more optimistic now than he was last night, in his own words. And then the Democrats launched a concerted campaign to block an effort by Republicans to rein in emergency Federal Reserve lending powers. And they said that the GOP proposal would deprive President-elect Joe Biden of crucial tools to manage the economy. So we're focused on Biden here and playing politics, but we cannot pass stimulus. According to the number 2 Senate Republican John Thune of South Dakota, he had said that believing a deal could be reached Friday would, quote, be a triumph of hope over experience. So very unlikely that a deal will be reached tonight. Now, although Congress was able to pass a short-term stopgap funding bill to avert a government shutdown, it would have been a partial government shutdown. It actually would have been a low-impact shutdown. In fact, all essential federal workers would have still been on the job, and most government offices would have been closed on the weekend anyways. So even if it did happen, it wouldn't have been an absolute disaster, but it just would have been an indication and a sad indictment of our government. And if you remember from yesterday's update, our guy, our main man, Senator Josh Hawley, he continued his fight. He still pushed through to reach a $1,200 stimulus check agreement as opposed to $600. He's the one who teamed up with Bernie Sanders to amend the new stimulus bill to include a $1,200 stimulus check. But our new Grinch, this is now the new Grinch. It was always Mitch the Grinch, but now it's Grinch Ron Johnson. Senator Hawley did everything right. He fought on the floor today, as he tweeted yesterday, and he said on the floor what we did back in March, that every senator voted for $1,200 for every working individual, $2,400 for working couples, $500 for kids and dependents. It's the least that we can do. It should be the first thing to do. So Hawley and Sanders tried their best. They fought and fought to put up that up-down vote that would have led to a potential $1,200 stimulus check in the new bill. But Ron Johnson shut them down. What happened was Senator Johnson objected to the vote, and under Senate rules, one senator objecting to Hawley's motion, which required unanimous consent, is enough to block the vote from moving forward. So unfortunately, it wasn't enough. But they tried their best, and they fought to the end. So you do have to give a big round of applause. You do have to appreciate the efforts from the unlikely tag team of Senator Josh Hawley and Mr. Bernie Sanders. And if you already hated Senator Ron Johnson for preventing a vote on $1,200 stimulus checks, wait till you hear his reasoning and sentiment of why. Are you ready for this one? Senator Ron Johnson, who, by the way, is going to be getting a full paid vacation while he goes home to his family on Christmas, doesn't have to worry about his income, doesn't have to worry about that he's not working during Christmas time, because he's getting a full paid vacation, by the way, on your tax dollars, that is. Your tax dollars are funding his paid vacation. His reasoning for why you, working class American, just like yourself, your neighbor, your family, why you cannot get a mere $1,200, he cited the budget and deficit concerns, and also criticized and pointed out Josh Hawley and Bernie Sanders' replication of another $1,200 stimulus check under the CARES Act back in March, when the economy was in terrible shape. And his idea, his reasoning, was that millions of jobs have been recovered. The economy is not as bad as it is now than it was back in March, so there's no need for another stimulus check. Well, Senator, you have to understand that COVID cases are spiraling all over the country. It's through the roof, record highs. We had days that surmounted 9/11. Some of the biggest record cases in history happened in just the last couple weeks. So I don't know what you're talking about as if this is all over and behind us. You're sweeping it under the rug as if nothing ever happened and there's no problems, no issues. Everyone's back to work. Everyone's working. Well, many people can't get jobs. Many people, they lost their job. They're not going to be able to cover it. They're not getting it back. They're never going to see it again. But you kept your job. You kept your job during this entire 9-month period from March until now. You have not had to worry about you losing your job. You have continued to remain in office and continue to be paid as if there is no pandemic. But a working class American cannot get $1,200. So sad, so terrible. We're not even asking for more than $1,200. We're not asking for more than the CARES Act. Just the $1,200. Just do exactly what you voted for back in March, please. He went on to say, quote, anything we consider for this additional package ought to be far more targeted. More targeted, millions and millions of people are about to be evicted from their homes when the eviction moratorium ends. Millions of people. We are mortgaging our children's future. I think we need to be very careful about mortgaging it further when we aren't doing it in a targeted fashion. Well, I think mortgaging your children's future would look like them not having enough food to eat, not enough food on their table. Certainly that wouldn't do well for them in the short term. So why not? Why? Why block the vote on a simple $1,200 stimulus check? I don't understand it. Bernie Sanders was not quick to throw in the towel either that day. He spoke on the Senate floor as well as his colleague Josh Hawley, saying, quote, let us pass legislation which includes $1,200 direct payments to working class families, and certainly not taking a nickel away from unemployment and the other important provisions that are currently being negotiated. That was very kind of Bernie to point that out, because as we discussed in yesterday's update, unfortunately, under this new version of the bipartisan framework, a $600 stimulus check could only be afforded if we took away 6 weeks of unemployment benefits. So you wouldn't have been receiving a 16-week extension under the original bipartisan framework. Unfortunately, it would have only been cut to 10. And 6 weeks is a long time. That is a month and a half of additional potential survival. Food, water, clothes for your children. Very important. And if once was not enough, after Senator Sanders and Hawley spoke, Johnson objected again, a second time, to the vote on an up-down vote on your next stimulus check to be $1,200. He again quoted and cited the deficit concerns and improving labor market conditions, which is totally asinine because these checks would have sent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of checks to his own constituents that have to re-elect him again because he is up for re-election. The conversation got heated between Ron Johnson and Bernie Sanders, a lot of finger pointing and blame and accusatory statements going back and forth. Ultimately, Sanders pointed out that he is running for re-election in 2022 and he should vote with his constituents in mind. Johnson said, quote, "When I first got here, I ran because we were mortgaging our kids' future. I'm not heartless. I want to help people. I voted to help people. I voted for the $2.2 trillion CARES Act, but I'm also concerned about our children's future." He then went on to say to reporters, "I've never said I'd vote with my re-election in mind." So he has still not decided whether or not he will run again in 2022, but I don't think he has a good shot. So that's the current state of affairs. That is the State of the Union. And unfortunately, no vote tonight. The government did not shut down. They were able to fund themselves, but they cannot fund the people. No vote tonight. No vote tomorrow. Sunday is our new deadline. We'll have to wait until then. What's your opinion of all this? As always, the comment section does get pretty heated sometimes. Try to keep it a little bit PG, maybe PG-13. Definitely not rated R. We don't want to create a community of disturbance and violence. Let's try to keep things nice and try to be kind to one another. But do comment down below your thoughts and opinions on what's going on. Do you think we should have just passed some stimulus, even if it didn't include one or the other stimulus checks or unemployment benefits? Could we have sacrificed one of them? Or is it better to hold out longer for the best deal possible? What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments. We'll keep that discussion going. I will be sure to have an update for you guys tomorrow, so I will see you tomorrow. I thought tonight would have been the night, but you can't predict Washington. Of course, anything could happen. I will be here for you guys though, so I do look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video. If you did enjoy this video, give it a big thumbs up, smash that like button, and as always, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, the big red button. Also hit the notification bell as well. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Again, fingers crossed, let's hope for the best.